Greetings, Darklings, from across the interwebs. It is once again I, the Duchess, Precious Ken, here today rocking my lovely Art Dictator shirt. They are a really cool band from Turkey that does like electronic punk art rock and absolutely cool. Definitely somebody to check out. I love doing the t-shirt shout outs in the beginning here. We're here for a video premiere, a really cool one. I'm very excited. And this is a band that is a mixture of both America and Sweden, which is really cool. I love when we have that in today's modern era where, you know, bands can join up with each other from all over the place. And we will be interviewing with Normoria. Welcome, Normoria.
Hi.
Hi, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to Normoria.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys here, and we worked to try and get this set up because we have very different time zones, and we had to work it out. So I'm glad that we were able to finally make that happen. Why don't we start out? You guys each introduce yourselves, say what it is you do in the band, and then I want to hear a little bit about the history of this project and how it came together.
All right, I'm Gustav. I'm a guitarist in the band.
I'm Johan and I play bass.
I'm Angel and I write music for the band and I'm the lead singer.
Excellent.
And I
First
do
up-
other things.
First off,
Videos, everything, you name it.
we all have to wear a lot of hats in today's
Yes.
DIY modern era, that is for sure. Another hat that I want to ask about right here is you have this amazing look going on in both your videos and here in this interview here. Do you make all of, or at least a lot of the stuff yourself? And what do you have going on here?
Not really. Very few of the things I make.
Oh, okay.
And for example, this mask,
Yes.
my cage, is by a designer from France, I believe.
Oh, cool.
So
You just always, whenever I see you or see you in photos, I think you have such a unique and interesting aesthetic. I just wanted to kind of ask like where it came together, because it is, I mean, it's important now to kind of express yourself in a lot of ways, not just the music, but just, you know, be a personal expression of yourself and kind of everything that you're doing with it. And I just always think you have such cool looks. So.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we usually seek out looking for things that we think fit into who we are and the image of our band and our music. So we kind of, you know, are collectors of items to put together to make the visual that we want.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, I've always been very creative since I was a little kid. So I see things and they kind of like, you know, when something speaks to you.
Sure.
And I kind of like adopt it and convert it into something that can work for the band, you know.
Well, it very much works, and I think it, you know, takes another level of, like I said, kind of a artistic expression in the visual along with the music. Let's get back to the music now, and tell me a little bit about how you guys all came together and how this project came to be.
Back in 19, just kidding, 2016, I started this project with another friend of mine from LA. Actually, he was born in Finland.
Mhm.
And that's how the project started. And then we were working in music, and while I was working in the music, me and Gustav were trying to find members here in Sweden.
Mhm.
And we were kind of like new to Sweden, so it was a little bit hard to find people at the time. So it wasn't until 2017 that we actually came together as a band.
Yeah. In that time we had a backup singer as well, working with Angel. And then that's how we got in contact with Johan.
Yeah,
And
it was a
then-
friend of mine that like asked me if I knew anybody that could play the bass. And I said, no, not really, but I mean, I guess I can learn to play bass. So I bought a bass and joined the band.
That's awesome. The whole project
Exactly.
actually brought you into music. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Well, you played the guitar
yeah, I
before.
played some guitar, but yeah, never played the bass. So
Oh, see, I've done that before when I'm a guitar player, but I
Yeah.
played bass in bands because I figured at some point it would be easier to learn to play a new instrument than to drop 60 pounds to get back into guitar player shape. Bass players are allowed to be bigger dudes usually, you know, that's.
They look cooler.
yeah,
Just
them,
like you.
them and the drummers.
Yeah, no, the drummer's got to stay in shape because God, they actually have to, you know, put in an aerobic workout. That's for sure.
Yeah,
That's good.
I was gonna say that.
Okay, so you guys had the project and you brought it together. And what kind of, I don't know, to me, I think one of the things that was really interesting when I heard both this song and a lot of others, you guys are very, very open about your political slant in the music that you're making. I think that's a key aspect to your art, and I hear a lot, especially in this new video. How do you think that is important to the message you're doing and kind of the overlap between art and what's going on in the world?
I mean, I think, at least from my perspective, I think it's just that we have a lot of things that are frustrating in the world, you know, and things that we see that are difficult, and that kind of emotion easily translates into something you can express with in combination with the music.
Yeah.
I don't think we necessarily set out to do that, but we usually find something that the music connects to, and we kind of pull that into it.
Yeah.
To be able to express something that we have within not just the music, but also feelings about what's happening in the world.
Yeah, I think that for me, I get inspired unfortunately, by tragedies.
Sure. It's something that hits hard to the core of human emotion, as you said. So I mean, it's going to be fuel for being able to get your art out there.
Yeah, and that fuel is exactly what I use in order to write the music, write the lyrics. You know, that's what inspired me.
What do you think of, you know, you kind of mentioned when you're doing lyrics like that and joining them up with the music. Tell me a little bit about the process for kind of how you turn that emotion for whatever it is you're feeling and spin that into a story for your lyrics, because I think that's another important aspect of what you guys do in the art that you're making.
I don't know exactly how everything gets connected, to be honest to you. I just it's some kind of a feeling. I don't know how to explain exactly how everything comes together, to tell you the truth.
Sure.
I just like when I'm writing the music, I'm just feeling all the different instruments and sounds, and it's kind of like a dream, you know, like when you're sleeping, all these different things are happening, and they all connect with each other, and somehow sometimes they make sense, but they're not make sense, and some of the dreams have a message, or other dreams are like, what the hell was that, you know? So it's like, but somehow everything makes sense when at some point or another, when I try to come up with the sounds and the different instruments and different parts, and then all takes me to ideas with lyrics. Like some sounds kind of like start reminding me of certain events, you know, or things, you know, like it could be things that have to do with our government in the United States, you know, or it could be like things about animals, you know, we are big animal advocates. So it depends, you know. I go by feelings. So for me it's very hard to explain because it's very natural the way
Yeah.
that happens in my head and my brain. It comes very natural, but it's not easy to explain.
I really like the way you explained it actually, because, you know, and that's not what I've heard said a lot, was just the idea of it. It kind of is like a dream when you're trying to put a song together, that the rules aren't the same as the rest of writing or life or anything like that. It is, things are a little surreal in how you're trying to take an emotion or a sound and incorporate that in a way someone else would understand. And to me, like, yeah, that is a lot of the artistry of it. So no, I think that's a really beautiful way to explain it. That's really cool. You mentioned a minute ago that you guys are strong animal rights activists, and I see behind you, I was really enjoying, you have the pictures behind you with the looks like the bat and the spiders and whatnot. That do you want to tell me a little bit? Do you have any special animals in your life that you want to share about with me? Because I that's what I have, my 3 cats, and I love talking about them. Do you guys have any that you want to tell your fans about?
Oh yes. We had 3 cats.
as well.
One was right here a few minutes ago. You didn't get to see him.
Oh, I want to know their names and stuff. I
Yes.
want to know about them, what color they are. I want to know things.
So one, the boy, his name is Pepper,
Pepper, nice.
and he's a mix of what is that? The
Well,
big cat.
it looks a bit like a Norwegian forest cat or a Maine Coon mixed with
I love Norwegian
something.
forest cats.
Yeah, so he's very, yeah. I mean, if he was here right now, of course. Now he was
Now
here.
they all disappeared.
That's
But,
okay.
He's from California.
Yeah, he was found in the street as a tiny baby, and by a family that we knew, and we took him in. And then we have another cat. There's 1 year younger. Her name is Godiva, because she's almost all black, but with like a brown shade.
Like a dark
Mhm.
chocolate.
So she's our dark chocolate cat. So we call her Godiva, and same with her. Actually, she was also found on the street as a baby, so we took her in.
She's half blind.
Yeah, she was very sick when they found her. So she had an infection, and wait, here is Pepper. Let's see if he wants to join.
Pepper's coming and said, "Oh, what a total unit! Oh, oh, such a kitty." All right, real quick, who's the 3rd one, and then we'll get back to music. But I always have to hear about the cats.
So, and then we have Luna, a cat that actually came here from Sweden, a kitten that was born on a farm, that is completely crazy, energetic, super energetic, bouncing off the walls all the time, super fun.
When you have 3, there's always one that way. I've found there's always just the wild card cat.
Yeah,
And then you won.
yeah, 2 cats at home as well. So the brother and sister that we rescued, named Ajax and Radagast.
Beautiful. All right, you want, because I had a lot of questions so far for the other 2. I'm gonna let you take the tech one, being the bass player. I want to hear about this. What's your bass rig, and what's the sound that you try and get for it to have that big, thick, heavy slamming bass sound that you guys have?
Yeah, we don't really have much in the way of a rig. I have a Yamaha bass, and then I just have a pedal that we kind of connect.
Yeah, we do a lot of combination of like line outs into a PA system.
Nice.
And I think it's much more focused on the different layers that we do on actual recordings. But
Yeah,
then it's usually like software-based plugins that we use for that. A
yeah.
lot of combinations. Stuff.
That's
then
what
I
we
just-
do everything on now. Screw amps.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in the fact of I want to leave amps in the past because I don't like carrying stuff. So we're
Yeah.
trying to get rid of as many amps as possible for going to shows.
Yeah.
As a guitarist, I love real analog tube amps.
I
but
know most guitarists do. I deal with it.
I don't use them because it is such a pain, and
Yeah.
it's so much simpler to have a pedal that has all the emulation, everything built in. You just plug in, give it to the guy, and the sound guy, and boom, there you're plugged in, you're ready to go.
I will say too, I think that there was a long time where there was a huge variance between, like you said, like a real Fender Jazz tube amp, vintage and how it sounded, and what you could get from a plug-in. I don't think that's as true today. I think more and more it's getting closer and closer where honestly the sounds are almost identical.
Yeah, it's really crazy, nice actually.
Yeah, the level of how the technology's coming along. Okay, I have one more question that I want to ask you guys about before we get into your video, and that's what we're here for, is excited about the premiere of the video. And I always like hearing, especially, someone in another country, in Sweden, what is it that you're listening to right now? One or two things that our listeners should look for and be excited about. What's inspiring you in the modern music world?
I can start unless you guys have something.
No, I have
Same here.
yeah, way too many things I should mention. Like, I'm one of those that always like looks for new music constantly, and just trying to find like anything interesting, and like basically doesn't matter which genre. Obviously, like my
Sure.
main genres are like synth and metal and rock and pop, and like then everything just goes. So I mean, would be here for hours if I would try to narrow it down.
Yeah, I think I'm also a metalhead, like big time. But I listen to a lot of different combinations of different musics, like a lot of like heavy metal guitars mixed in with other styles of music. I mean, in the metal genre, you have, you can every other type of music possible basically in a metal format exists at this point. So
Well, sure. Who's a metal band that you're liking and interested in right now?
so one actually pops into my mind right now. It's not a new band, but they're releasing a new album, or at least two singles. It's a Swedish band called Tyrfing.
What is it called?
Tyrfing.
Okay.
And it's a mix of like traditional folk music mixed with metal music.
That's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of like Viking theme and mythology, things like that, inspired by that. But you asked me what I'm listening to, and funny enough, actually, recently I actually started going back to listening to The Prodigy, which is something that I was
cool.
really listening to when I was growing up here in Sweden. I grew up here in Sweden, but I left Sweden when I was 16 to move to United States, and then moved back here a few years ago. But before I left, that was a band that was really, really important to me when I was a teenager, was The Prodigy. And I've actually gone back to listen to that a lot in just the past few weeks.
Very cool. I love The Prodigy. I mean, they had a very interesting sound, and I think a lot deeper concept than a lot of people gave them credit for, because at the time it was it's great to dance to, right? I mean, that's just slamming dance beats that are fun, but they had a lot more message, I think, if you really dig into them, than people thought at first, because they were just enjoying the fact they were club hits.
And I have to also mention that I was really caught a little bit off guard by latest release from Aesthetic Perfection, with a lot of the heavy guitars in there.
Yeah.
That was something that I really found interesting, because that's something that I found it's not super common in the more of a synth world. It's the more like aggressive heavy guitars. It's not super common.
Daniel definitely does kind of more, what do you call it, industrial pop, where, yes, I mean, it has a lot of those synth episodes, but it definitely has a lot of hard edge industrial to it, and constantly mixing that around. It's funny, I never really got into Aesthetic Perfection as much until recently, from him like joining the group. And now it's been so much fun because I'm working my way backwards through Aesthetic Perfection and kind of getting to see the whole thing at once. And that is some top tier done mixed stuff. I'll tell you, like really, really interesting from that standpoint. So those are all great call outs. I want to talk now about the new video that we're gonna watch here in a moment. And why don't you just set the scene up a little bit of kind of how you said, how this dream or idea kind of came to you. You had a message of what you wanted to say and how that came out both in your music and in the video that you wanted to put along with it.
Yeah,
I'll start and you go later if you want.
Yeah.
Well, this song is not exactly a, I don't know, it doesn't have a one message, you know.
Sure.
It's obviously based on historical events, things that have happened in the US, and that's the main thing, and all the frustrations, you know, when it comes to all the different things, all the negative things that we have been trying to make work for so many years, but then the government and then the rich and people on the top and the 1% and all these many things under the umbrella keeps making the situation even worse, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, it's about that there's so many things that are divisive in the United States, and especially in the last few years we've seen
Yeah.
the dream.
Yes.
And then you have, like you're saying, you know, you have money in politics, money in media. That are kind of like have their fingers in there manipulating what's happening. And then we, the people. I am an American citizen as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're affected by it and often driven and pushed to think and believe certain things. And it's really hard to know what's really happening and what. And in the end, in my opinion at least, so many people are so alike. We just are convinced to think different things about other people.
Yeah.
They're belonging to other groups or ethnicities or whatever it may be.
Sure. I think that was one of my takeaways when I'm watching it and thinking about it is, yes, there's a lot of very striking images and a lot of powerful images going on there, you know, while you're singing and going through the clips. But I think the overall theme was, as you said, to me, the money involved and how they shape the narrative more than about the individual events that you're showing. It was about the media portrayal of those events and how they kind of are all a part of the same danger, which is the fact that people with money and control at the top of this pyramid are getting to shape the entire story over a long history of events. And that's extremely dangerous when you limit whose story gets told.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I see it.
I'm usually not too good explaining my work because I don't like getting into too much details. I don't like
Sure.
talking to people about like politics and edgy subjects like that. I like to write and then have people understand whatever.
Draw their own
want.
messages, sure.
But yeah, when it comes to explaining things, I try not to touch those subjects much. I don't like getting too involved. I just like my writing to speak for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's sensible, and that's a big part of being an artist. I just, to me, that's what really struck me on it, is that it's this video is full of bold, intense imagery. So it's hard not to have, like you said, your own emotional reaction around everything that you're seeing here. Well, I'm really excited to get through to the video. Where can people find, I mean, the video is going to be on YouTube and cast there, but where can people find your music and purchase it and get a chance to learn more about your band?
You can find our music on Bandcamp
Mm-hmm.
and in
I'll
Spotify.
share the link. I'll share your Bandcamp link out here. But you guys have your own webpage as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the Bandcamp page, and then we have Spotify. And then to learn more details about the band, you can go to normoria.com, and also Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you really want to support us, I think Bandcamp is one of the best alternatives because you can actually
In
purchase
general.
music.
Yeah, Bandcamp is if you actually care about supporting artists, Bandcamp is the way to do it.
And we also have some fairly new nice T-shirts there as well. If anybody wants to
Nice, yes. Well, it's been really great having you guys on. I'm so glad we got to do this. I'm excited to roll the video and roll the clip. So for all of our friends out there on the interweb, this is Normoria and their brand new video. Do you guys want to say anything to set the scene up?
Our next video is The Land of the Rich, and we really hope that you like it and enjoy it. And don't forget to follow us.
Beautiful. This is Land of the Rich, and everybody out there, keep it dark, yo.
The rulers of the system take us for fools, abusing power and breaking the rules. They swear with hand on Bible to protect them all. Minimum wages seems to never go up, while loving keeps the status quo. That's how they keep us under their corrupt control. Propaganda to control, feeding you lies and some of you believe it all. The British radio's always running the show. They pay to hide the truth when scandals roll. The biased media goes ahead and sell their souls. While the 1% controls the government, the blue collar stay powerless. They say there's no money for healthcare, but there's trillions spent on war. How do you trust the circus in DC? How do you trust when the poor stay poor? How do you trust when the rich get richer? And will you believe?